For thousands of years, stories have been told of mysterious beings who appeared in moments of danger, crisis, destiny. They are described as messengers, warriors, protectors, and guides. Across ancient writings, one theme repeats again and again. Whenever the impossible needed to happen, an angel appeared. Today, we're going to explore some of the most epic angel encounters ever recorded. Stories so powerful they shaped entire kingdoms and changed the course of history. One of the most dramatic accounts begins outside the walls of ancient Jerusalem. The Assyrian Empire, a name that struck fear across the ancient world, had surrounded the city with a colossal army, said to number 185,000 soldiers. For the people inside, there was no escape. Negotiation was pointless. As night fell, the inhabitants of Jerusalem believed they were seeing their very last sunset. The air was thick with despair, the end felt certain. But according to the story, something extraordinary happened in the darkness. A single angel moved silently through the enemy camp. What exactly occurred in those shadowed hours remains a mystery shrouded in legend. But when morning came, the once unstoppable army was silent. The invaders, gripped by a terror they couldn't explain, retreated, and Jerusalem was saved. The city hadn't lifted a single sword. To this day, people wonder how a single, unseen presence could turn the tide of an entire war in just one night. It's a story of deliverance so absolute it defies all military logic. Another extraordinary account takes us to a lonely mountain, where a father walked with his son toward a sacrifice he never wanted to make. The story says that Abraham, with shaking hands, raised a blade over his beloved son, Isaac. He was torn between his obedience to a divine command and the heartbreak of a father. Can you imagine that moment? The sheer anguish, the impossible choice. And at that exact instant, a voice shattered the silence, calling out from the heavens. An angel appeared and stopped his hand, commanding him not to harm the child. What had seemed like the darkest moment of Abraham's life became a turning point, a terrifying test that was transformed into a divine promise. The fear vanished, replaced by the profound sense that a divine presence had stepped in at the last possible second. It wasn't just about saving a life. It was about demonstrating that faith, even when pushed to its absolute limit, would be met with mercy. Then there's the mysterious event witnessed by the prophet Elisha and his servant. They awoke one morning to find themselves completely surrounded by an enemy army. The city was encircled, and escape was impossible. The servant trembled with fear, believing this was the end. But Elisha remained calm, almost serene. He simply prayed that his servant's eyes might be opened to see what he saw. And according to the story, they were. Suddenly, the servant looked up and saw the mountains filled with chariots of fire and a vast, unseen army surrounding the enemy forces. Invisible just moments before, an entire host of angels stood ready to protect them. What looked like certain defeat was actually an illusion. The real battle, the one that truly mattered, had already been won by a force that no one else could see. It's a powerful reminder that what we perceive as reality might only be a fraction of the truth. Let's move forward in time to another powerful encounter, this one taking place in a dark, cold prison cell deep within the Roman Empire. The Apostle Peter, guarded by 16 soldiers and locked behind heavy iron doors, had no realistic chance of freedom. His execution was scheduled for the next day. Yet in the middle of the night, the prison filled with a brilliant light. An angel appeared, touched his chains, and they simply fell to the ground. The massive iron doors swung open by themselves, and Peter walked past sleeping guards as if the entire world had fallen silent just for him. He moved through the prison like a ghost, completely unnoticed. It was only when he reached the safety of the street that the angel vanished, leaving him to wonder whether he had just witnessed a miracle or simply dreamed it all. But as he looked down at the broken chains still dangling from his wrists, he knew the answer. Freedom had come when all hope was lost. There is also the unforgettable moment involving the prophet Daniel, who was thrown into a den of hungry lions as punishment for his unwavering faith. For his enemies, it was a death sentence. Many believed he wouldn't survive a single hour. Yet, according to the story, when the lions approached him, something stopped them. Daniel later said that an angel stood beside him through the entire night, closing the mouths of the beasts and protecting him until morning. When the king, filled with regret, rushed to the den at dawn, expecting to find a tragedy, he instead found Daniel standing completely unharmed. The scene shook the entire kingdom to its core. It became a legendary tale of divine protection, a reminder that a shield can appear in the most impossible and terrifying of places. It wasn't about Daniel's strength, but about a power that rendered the lions powerless. But among all the angel encounters, few are as gentle and profound as the moment a young woman named Mary received a message that would change the world forever. The story says that the angel Gabriel appeared to her, not with a sword or in a show of force, but shining with a calm and reassuring light. His first words were, "Do not be afraid." The message he brought was unlike any ever delivered. She would give birth to a child who would transform human history. This encounter wasn't filled with fire or warfare or miracles of destruction. It was filled with hope, purpose, and destiny. It was a quiet moment between an angel and a young woman, but it remains one of the most influential moments ever written, setting in motion a story that continues to resonate 2,000 years later. Across all of these incredible stories, one theme connects them: angels appear when the impossible stands right in front of humanity. Sometimes they protect, sometimes they warn, sometimes they deliver messages that shape entire civilizations. Whether you believe these encounters were physical events, powerful visions, or something far beyond our human understanding, they have left an imprint on history so deep that their echoes remain thousands of years later. And for countless people around the world, these accounts are not just ancient tales. They are vital reminders that even in our darkest, most hopeless moments, there may be forces at work in ways our eyes cannot see. As we look back at these epic encounters, one question remains: were these beings guardians, warriors, messengers, or something far greater than any single description? The stories give us powerful glimpses, but they never give us the full explanation. Perhaps that mystery is what makes them so captivating. And perhaps the reason these stories endure is simple. They speak to the deep-seated human hope that we are never truly alone. Thank you so much for watching. If these stories fascinate you as much as they do me, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of history. Let me know in the comments which of these encounters you find the most powerful. Until next time.